So at this time, we are going to begin with the incumbent from Ward 1, Philip Wasmer. Let me grab his. There he is right there. All right, and make him spotlight. And Phil, you are on.
Okay. Hey everybody, I'm Phil Wasmer. I'm currently serving as one of the Ward 1 aldermen. I want to thank, first of all, Marcus and the Living Center for sponsoring this, because really with Parkville not being served by a truly community news organization that is centric to us, this type of exposure and information is rare. So thank you again. I've lived in Parkville for 16 years, and during that time, I've just slowly become more and more engaged in the community. From 2011, taking the family down and bagging up sandbags for the big flood, to becoming a member of the Community Land and Recreations Board. I served 5 years on it's better known as the CLARB board. That was my first experience into governmental, organization in Parkville. It's not a governmental board; it's a citizen-appointed board, but it has great responsibility. These, citizens are appointed by the mayor. They constantly assess the state of the parks, encourage elements of the parks to be improved, slowly plotting towards the realization of our master plan. And during this time, we did not have a parks tax. So, we were at the whim of many small grant applications, and it was kind of rare. But now we have kind of the power of the parks tax that I'll talk to a little bit later. After CLARB, I have served almost 4 years or 2 terms as a member of the Board of Aldermen serving Ward 1. This has been just an incredible opportunity, and the mayor kind of alluded to it in her introduction. The abilities, the things that are presented to you to get involved as an alderman. I serve as a liaison with the Main Street Parkville Association, the Board of Aldermen liaison. So the Main Street Parkville Association is a group of downtown businesses and property owners that have a cooperative. They work and to promote downtown Parkville and Parkville as a whole. They generally put on Beer Fest and many of the other festivals downtown, Christmas on the River. So I work with them and link them to the city government and just help make sure that we're all working in lockstep and helping each other. I also serve as the member of the Parkville Downtown Redevelopment Corporation, which sounds like a crazy big title, but it's a fantastic organization that oversees the 353 overlay program for downtown Parkville. This 353 program is a tax incentive program for property owners to allow them to get funds or to get tax abatements having improved their property about on 3 different levels. So you can start the program for as little as, I think, $8,500, and the program goes all the way up to $750,000. But what it does is it encourages you, a building owner, to reinvest in the property, to reinvigorate it, and they get a 90% tax abatement on that increased valuation of the property. So, and I can talk about this in a breakout room, but it's important that, tax bases stay the same. They actually increase by the 10% that's not abated from the get-go. And then, we're all better off. We've got reinvigorated businesses, and you can take a look at Main Street right now. It's really on a fantastic path. I also serve on the Veterans Memorial Committee. A design that I submitted now 4 years ago for Veterans Memorial was selected, by the public, and And now they're struggling to raise money, and it's got a place situated in the park, the green space that's going to connect downtown to the riverfront, which is kind of exciting. Also serve on the Banneker School Foundation Board, which it's incredible. I don't know if you're not aware of Banneker School. It's a little one-room schoolhouse that was built down at 8th and West Street. And it was the only school built specifically for the education of free Black children following the Civil War. The bricks were made by students at Park University, at Park College at the time. The building was constructed by Park College students. And so the building's been saved and preserved, but not restored. And we're in a big fund drive right now to finish raising the money for that and to complete the restoration of the school. That's something I'm really excited about. I'm also on a committee assessing the state of inclusiveness and equity in Parkville. And as a result, kind of Platte County. This was a committee kind of loosely formed after the George Floyd murder. And we wanted to take an inner look and see what we could do as a community to make sure that we're promoting equity and diversity in our community. And this is a thing that has not progressed as quickly and as thoroughly as I wished over the time since its inception, but that's something I want to focus on in the future. I've lost track of my time, but some of the biggest issues before us, I think right now, is the development of PLP, Platte Landing Park. And we need to monitor the development of the park. There's proposed sports fields development in there that we want to be careful doesn't get too large and does not damage the wetlands that we have also created. And I'm sorry I went too long, but please ask me more in the breakout room about any of that. Thank you.
All right, there you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Phil. So my name is Emily Bullier. I do a number of things. I have a nonprofit. We donate books to pretrial detention center inmates. I am the assistant coordinator to the Lansing Correctional Program. We teach college classes to inmates at Lansing, and I help run my dad's business after he passed away. It's a very dry accounting firm. So I'm Philip Wasmer's opponent in the aldermanic race for Ward 1. Our other opponent, Patricia Robinson, has decided to endorse me. I'm about to go into a very dramatic, a written sort of speech, so to say. But just remember, this is not personal. This is professional, okay? So when I put my name in the hat, my primary motivation was to protect our tax dollars. My dad died a year ago, and I went from living paycheck to paycheck to not having to work if I didn't want to. What I learned is that the most valuable asset I gained was my time. I could have turned into a complete hedonist, sitting around reading every book I never got to read, subsisting on Whole Foods' finest, my biggest worry, a new wrinkle. But I couldn't do that. That's not me. I decided to spend my time helping my fellow man because I'd always dreamed of being able to do so. I started a nonprofit, finished my master's degree, and last but not least, decided to run in this aldermanic election. And the strangest thing happened after I signed up. Various Parkville citizens came out of the woodwork. They told me that Parkville city government has a serious problem, that developers are getting $50 million tax credits while one downtown resident of 20 years can't even get a curb. Her basement floods every heavy rain. That millions of federal funds were spent constructing the wetlands in Platte Landing Park. And then a couple of years later, the city of Parkville is planning to spend another $1 million of county funds and millions of our city tax dollars to construct ball fields on the wetlands that our city has been taken to court over an alleged sunshine request violation regarding their dealings with a prolific developer. It breaks my heart that my dad's life savings are going in part to this. I'm beginning to seriously worry about our community and leadership, and have become convinced that Parkville needs my help. Doing the right thing is the easy part. If elected, I will personally reach out to every household and make sure they know how to get a hold of me. If they have a question, concern, suggestion, attaboy, or constructive criticism, I am all ears. I will integrate all of your views and enact your will within the bounds of ethics and, of course, the law. I do not care if I win. Seriously, I don't care. I am simply giving you another option, and I want you to decide. I want to allow you to allow me to help us change the world for the better from the ground up, from Parkville onward and outward. We live in collective affluence and peace. To get really next level, all of our ancestors have sacrificed for us to be here in this moment of time. We are so lucky. Our collective affluence should not be taken lightly. Let's stop wasting our resources on pet projects and out-of-hand developments. Let's take our city to the next level and allow all of us to thrive regardless of socioeconomic status. Let's take care of all of us by taking care of each and every one of us. Please make your voices heard at the polls on April 6th. Don't vote for me because you like me. Don't vote against me and for Phil Wasmer because you don't like me. Listen to your intuition and ask yourself who is going to make Parkville better. And whoever that is, vote for them. Thanks.
Ms. Barbara, I'd like to ask a question.
Absolutely. Please do.
Thank you. My biggest concern with the upcoming election has to do with my observations that the current alderman in general, and I mean, you're, I guess, Ward 1 that's running, right, Phil? So this is kind of directed at you, have been kind of passive in standing up to getting information that's needed for the public. And of course, I'm sure you know what I'm referring to in part is, you know, the park development. I really feel strongly that that there should have been more pushback to get that information earlier and not to allow, you know, one alderman or whatever it was, the few administrators, I'm not sure, to get this far along with this huge plan. And I just wonder, I'd like to know your thoughts. I mean, why didn't you push back, or what happened exactly?
Barbara, good question. Obviously, I'm in this, you know, shoulder deep right now because it is a fail. I'm going to say it's a failing of the city in the way they move projects forward, possibly with smaller committees and not in front of the entire board. They do it through certain stages to get it to a grant stage to whatever. And then this happens, this fear that a ball field development is going to be put in with lighting because of the wording in a grant application. And it is a failing of the city and its intuitive sense of transparency and public discourse. And it's something that we addressed in our last meeting, that it's one of many things like this that progress along this line, kind of under the radar until it becomes widely known, that is unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and it's something we absolutely need to change. One way we thought or decided we should change, if a development like the park development is moving forward in a small committee, either city staff and an alderman or whatever, that every month, every meeting, that anything substantial is developed along this course, that a report is given to the alderman at large, so that we are all aware of conduit in the ground, $400,000 worth of conduit. Are you planning on lighting? And lighting's a no-go. We know that from our, the public input. So, I mean, it's embarrassing. It is a failing that we need to address and we need to become way better at. I don't know what else to say, Barbara. I appreciate the question, and I know you're very committed to staying on this, and I want to use the pressure of this instance with the ball fields to really help us drive better infrastructure for community engagement.
Okay,
I
beautiful
also-
friends, we only have a little bit longer, so let's make sure.
It had some response to that. Oh,
So I was invited to a small group of concerned Bluff citizens about the ballpark lights decision, and Phil was there as well. And I remember looking right at Phil and saying, "Why don't you put the lights to a vote?" And I'm so happy that you did. I also suggested that a great plan of action would be to go basically try to get the county grant rejected. And in part, you also took that advice. And then I suggested that we network with the Corps of Engineers. I started doing so myself, and they were shocked and surprised that anyone would try to develop a ballpark on top of a wetland. I'm just a civilian, not an alder woman, I guess. So I would have even more power, if you will, to network and do the right thing if I'm elected. And my master's is actually in Homeland Security. And one of the main lessons we learned as a nation, and the reason the Department of Homeland Security was formed is because there was a lack of interdepartmental communication before 9/11. Different departments and agencies of the federal government knew there was going to be an attack, and no one was talking to each other, so they couldn't put it all together. So yes, communication with the Board of Aldermen and the smaller groups is absolutely vital. So if you're suggesting some sort of cohesive report, Mr. Wasmer, I agree. That would be a great idea. And that's it.
one correction though, no proposal was going to put ball diamonds on top of a wetlands. It's adjacent to the wetlands, and we want to make very sure that whatever happens does protect the wetlands.
I'm not really sure. I mean, how many feet is really, determines whether it's on top of or next to. I'll take, that's noted. Thank you for correcting me. But in my view, when you're, sharing a water system and wildlife resides there, it's pretty much on top of the wetlands, but technically perhaps it is next to the wetlands.